Hello, welcome to Juice Galaxy 0.2.5. Uh, this update adds a bunch of stuff to the game. This update, I wanted to make the wilderness much more fun to explore, so I added about 70 new ruins buildings, which is what I'm probably going to talk about for the majority of this video. But besides that, I made buildings more common in the wilderness. I added a 3D compass that grows little skull hands to point to buildings when you're near them, and other goals like the evil cabin or the graveyard or Mrs. Slither's. I doubled monsters' minimum size so that they can be seen better when you're flying around. I changed the fog density function to make the foreground less foggy, and I adjusted lighting in some areas to compensate. I added a new monster, the Derptera, which is a tanky evil brawler that makes like really cool Godzilla chicken noises when you hit it. I fixed some random bugs, and I finally got around to fixing Baddie's cutscene. We also got 10 new ambient tracks by Stuart Keller, which play in the background in pretty much any area that didn't have music before. I really like them. They sound a lot like liquid air, which is perfectly fitting for the fog of Juice Galaxy. We packaged those tracks and a couple other tracks that he had done, like the Wasp Queen, into Juice Galaxy OST Volume 2, and it's out on Bandcamp and other platforms. There are links to the album in the main menu if you click music, and also in the description of this video. Now about the new buildings. I wanted to make the wilderness feel less empty, so I added a bunch of structures. These structures are loaded in the background using a new asynchronous GLB model loading scheme that allows you guys to access and edit the model files yourselves. Initially, I wanted to use generative AI to mass produce 3D models, but since the policy around that is currently dubious, I decided to use models from OpenGameArt, a repository for open source game assets. I looked through tons of models with the CC0 license, since it's the simplest to work with. I picked out the very best ones, and I made a big ol' list of the URLs so that I could automate the actual downloading process instead of having to click everything. The next problem was that all of the models were different sizes and styles, and the files were in different formats, and some of them were even zipped. To handle this, I wrote a really sloppy Blender script to digest the files automatically and make them into a format that could be consumed by the game. And the process to do that is as follows. First, the script unzips and imports the models from whatever format it was in. If there are multiple models, they get merged into one. The model is then scaled to fit inside of a tall 1x1x3 box to ensure that they are all of similar size in-game. Then we thicken it with a solidify modifier so that we can remesh it in the next step. To add craters, I generate a bunch of spheres on the surface, and I subtract them from the model with a Boolean modifier, resulting in a nice Swiss cheese effect. This has the added benefit of creating new entrances to the structure. Then I apply some Perlin noise vertex displacement to warp the model, and then it gets remeshed again and then decimated to reduce the overall polygon count. Then I set it to have smooth shading. I set the vertex colors with some more Perlin noise, and finally I apply a cubic UV unwrap so that the model can be textured. This process isn't perfect and it produces a lot of duds, so I go through afterwards and I make a list of the ones that are decent, and those get sent to Juice Galaxy to become a part of the game. I probably could have made about 40 3D models in the time that I spent writing all this code, but it was a lot more fun to automate. What's really cool about the .glb format is that you can actually embed textures, vertex weights, and animations in it, meaning future modders can add those to those files and the game will be able to import those. Also, it's a binary format, so it takes much less space than a text-based format like .obj would. All the models put together are only about 20 megabytes, which is about 10% the total size of Juice Galaxy right now. This would be much larger if I included the original textures from the OpenGameArt assets, so I did not do that. You can find the models in the game folder under Stuff. There's also an attribution file there with a link to the OpenGameArt page that the asset came from. If you want, you can actually edit or replace these models, and the changes will actually show up in Juice Galaxy. One person already sent me the speedrun video of them adding Mr. Krabs to the game, and another person was making Sky Islands. Actual modding support is to come in the future, but for now this is something. In-game, the model gets used as a building that spawns out in the wilderness. The model is loaded in the background and hit with some raycasts to determine where to spawn stuff like chests or the juice fountain. This is an extremely basic system, and thus the ruins are a lot less interactive than I'd like them to be. The next step will probably be to create some generic NPCs like villagers that live on, in, or around these things and can hand out quests or sell you items, attack you, or just like hang out. For now though, I really just wanted to release this new tech and make sure the update works before I start adding any of those new features. So let me know how the game runs, and especially let me know if it crashes or you find any bugs. And now, plans for the future. I'm almost done with all of the graphic design for the Steam page. I got it approved, but I want to tune it up a little bit, and then I need to make a trailer, and then it's freaking ready. There's a period of like 2 weeks where it has to be visible as coming soon, and at that point I'll be trying to get you guys to wishlist it so Steam thinks I'm cool, and then after that it'll be released. We'll be on Steam, and at that point I hope to start using Steam Workshop to host mods and stuff. I don't really know how that works. I've never been a modder, but I'll figure it out. Besides that, I really want to add some new NPCs to the game and obviously get back to work on that story. So yeah, thanks for playing. Let me know how the game runs. Drink some juice. And we'll be back soon with the next update, hopefully. Goodbye.